In the waning light of a world reborn from its own ashes, Earth had transformed into a landscape of both wonder and sorrow. New Aether, the sprawling metropolis that had risen from the ruins of old cities, was a testament to mankind's relentless drive to rebuild and reinvent itself. Towering spires of glass and steel, interwoven with living walls of verdant ivy and engineered flora, reached towards a sky that was forever tinged with the hues of dusk. The streets bustled with a silent energy, where the hum of electric vehicles mingled with the distant echo of nature, reclaiming its territory. Amid the intricate dance of holographic advertisements and digital billboards, remnants of crumbling architecture whispered secrets of an era when human ambition knew no bounds. Every corner of the city bore the scars of past conflicts, yet also glowed with the promise of a future where technology and nature could coexist, however precariously. Beneath this veneer of progress, a subtler story unfolded, a narrative of memories fading like old photographs and a collective consciousness teetering on the edge of oblivion. Mira Valen had always been drawn to the subtle interplay between memory and identity, a fascination that bordered on obsession in a society where recollection was both currency and weapon. Raised in the labyrinthine corridors of New Aether, she had grown up amidst whispered legends of a time when memories were pure, untainted by the mechanizations of corporate power. As a leading cognitive scientist, Mira's days were spent unraveling the neural codes of emotion and recollection in a bid to restore the lost authenticity of human experience. Yet beneath her composed exterior lay a simmering turmoil, a disquieting sense that something vital had been excised from her very essence, leaving behind fragments and shadows where whole memories should have resided. Despite her accolades and celebrated research, Mira often found herself plagued by nights of vivid dreams and inexplicable déjà vu, as if her subconscious was trying to communicate secrets long buried. The gentle hum of her laboratory equipment and the soft glow of data streams served as constant reminders of a world where technology could both illuminate and obscure the truth. Every breakthrough in her work was tempered by the silent question that haunted her. What had been lost in the relentless pursuit of progress, and at what cost to the human soul? Each morning, Mira navigated the crowded avenues of New Aether, where every face bore the quiet resignation of a people living under subtle but pervasive control. The city, with its glittering facade and shadowed alleys, was a mosaic of contradictions, a place where dreams and despair coexisted in a delicate balance. As she walked past augmented storefronts and digital art installations that celebrated progress, Mira's thoughts often drifted to the intangible cost of such relentless innovation. The memories of her early childhood, though hazy and fragmented, seemed to whisper truths about a life uncharted by corporate algorithms. In her daily routine, marked by the sterile precision of scientific inquiry, there lingered an undercurrent of longing for a more genuine connection to her past, a yearning that made each tick of the clock resonate like a distant, unremembered heartbeat. In quiet moments, when the city's relentless pace softened into a background murmur, she would catch herself pausing at old murals and graffiti that evoked the raw, unfiltered spirit of bygone eras. These glimpses of forgotten art and expression stirred a sense of rebellion in her heart, a quiet dissent against the systematic erasure of individuality. Every step along the neon-lit sidewalks was a silent protest, an affirmation of her belief that memories, no matter how deeply buried, were the very essence of human freedom. Deep beneath the glittering surface of New Aether's progress lay the enigmatic power of AuroraTech, a corporation whose reach extended into every facet of daily life. Ostensibly dedicated to enhancing human potential through advanced neurotechnology, AuroraTech had in reality woven a web of control so intricate that even the most astute observers remained oblivious to its true nature. Its flagship project, heralded as a revolution in cognitive enhancement, involved the delicate reconfiguration of neural pathways, a process that, in subtle increments, began to blur the line between genuine memory and fabricated experience. Rumors swirled among the intellectual elite and whispered in underground circles that a clandestine agenda was at work, the systematic alteration of human recollection to mold a society that was docile, easily governed, and alarmingly uniform. For Mira, these murmurs resonated with a disquieting familiarity, as if the tendrils of a hidden force were reaching into the very core of her being. Late nights spent poring over encrypted research documents and coded transmissions had only deepened her suspicions. The seeming perfection of the world around her, with its meticulously curated memories and emotions, now appeared less like an achievement of human ingenuity and more like a carefully constructed facade designed to keep the populace in a state of controlled oblivion. In the quiet solitude of her personal quarters, Mira began to experience sudden, disorienting flashbacks that shattered the monotony of her meticulously scheduled life. These visions, vivid and emotionally charged, were fragments of memories that did not seem to belong to her, yet stirred in her a sense of urgent recognition. She would see fleeting images, a familiar face lost in the crowd, a half-remembered conversation filled with laughter, or the serene gaze of someone who once held her hand. And then, as quickly as they appeared, the images would vanish, leaving behind a lingering ache and a series of unanswered questions. The phenomenon was not isolated. Others in the city whispered of similar encounters, of moments when time seemed to ripple and reveal hidden layers of reality. Each unbidden memory served as a puzzle piece in a picture too vast to comprehend, compelling Mira to question the very nature of her identity and the authenticity of the past that had been bestowed upon her. These nocturnal intrusions into her subconscious life were both a source of creative inspiration and a wellspring of deep anxiety, as if her mind were a battleground where truth and illusion waged an endless war. Driven by a burgeoning need to uncover the origins of these enigmatic visions, Mira began to venture into the lesser-known quarters of New Aether, places where the glow of official neon faded into shadow, and whispers of dissent thrived in the hidden crevices of the urban sprawl. It was in one such forgotten district, beneath a maze of overgrown alleyways and derelict factories, that she encountered a clandestine collective known only as the Remnants. This group, a motley assembly of former scientists, artists, and everyday citizens, had long suspected that the seamless perfection of modern life was a veneer concealing a far more insidious manipulation of truth. Their secret meetings, held in the hushed ambience of underground basements, illuminated by flickering candlelight and salvaged screens, were filled with impassioned discussions about autonomy, memory, and the right to one's own history. In the hushed tones of a world that had forgotten how to speak freely, Mira found not only kindred spirits, but also the first tangible leads toward understanding the forces that had stolen fragments of her past. The Remnants shared with her encrypted data and accounts of similar experiences, each narrative weaving together a tapestry of hidden resistance against an overwhelming tide of engineered conformity. In their eyes, Mira saw the burning embers of rebellion, a fierce determination to reclaim the stolen fragments of identity that defined them as human. The sanctuary of the Remnants was as much a relic of forgotten times as it was a beacon of defiant hope in an era dominated by digital omnipresence. Nestled within the bowels of an abandoned subway station, their hideout was a labyrinth of makeshift workstations, antique books, and repurposed technology, a stark contrast to the sterile perfection of corporate laboratories. Here, amidst rusting tracks and the echo of distant trains, the group worked feverishly to decode the anomalies in their collective memories and to piece together evidence of AuroraTech's covert machinations. Every wall bore cryptic murals and messages of resistance, a silent yet powerful testament to the enduring spirit of human ingenuity. The air was thick with the scent of old paper and solder, intermingled with the palpable tension of individuals who were acutely aware that the truth they sought could very well mark them as outcasts in a society meticulously engineered for conformity. In that dimly lit refuge, every whispered theory and shared memory became a rallying cry against the silent tyranny that sought to erase the essence of what it meant to be truly alive. As days bled into nights filled with fervent discussions and clandestine planning, Mira's inner world became a cauldron of conflicting emotions. The more she delved into the mysteries of manipulated memory, the more she was forced to confront the possibility that her own past might have been sculpted by forces beyond her control. Fragments of childhood recollections, fleeting images of a smiling guardian in a sunlit garden, the gentle cadence of lullabies long forgotten, began to merge with the disjointed echoes of implanted experiences. This internal dissonance was both haunting and liberating, as it shattered the simplistic narrative of a life lived in isolation from larger, more malevolent forces. The realization that her memories might be the product of deliberate design, tailored to serve an agenda of uniformity and control, ignited a fire of defiance within her. It was a truth too painful and profound to ignore, a revelation that cast her existence in a new light and propelled her deeper into the labyrinth of resistance, where every recalled moment carried the weight of both loss and unyielding hope. In this crucible of self-doubt and awakening, Mira began to understand that the journey to reclaim her identity was also a journey toward reclaiming the collective soul of a society seduced by the illusion of perfection. In the midst of her internal tumult, a figure from Mira's distant past emerged to offer both solace and further enigma. Dr. Elias, her former mentor and one of the original architects of cognitive research in New Aether. Now disillusioned by the very institution he had helped build, Elias had retreated into obscurity, dedicating his twilight years to the clandestine study of memory's malleable nature. Meeting Mira in a secluded corner of the Remnants' underground sanctuary, his weathered face and tired eyes spoke volumes of regrets and revelations amassed over decades. With a measured tone that carried both gravitas and sorrow, Elias recounted his early enthusiasm for the promise of neurotechnology, a promise that had slowly withered as he uncovered the darker intentions behind its implementation. His own research, once celebrated as pioneering, had inadvertently paved the way for the very manipulations that now ensnared the populace. As he revealed layers of complex ethical dilemmas and the hidden compromises of his past, Elias became both a cautionary tale and a beacon of hope, urging Mira to seek the truth and to dismantle the mechanisms that turned memory into a commodity. In his words, the boundaries between innovation and exploitation blurred, and the cost of progress revealed itself as a series of silent betrayals against the sanctity of human experience. AuroraTech's influence had permeated every facet of life in New Aether, its omnipresence a constant reminder of the fine line between benevolent innovation and totalitarian control. The corporation's sleek headquarters, a towering edifice of reflective glass and steel, loomed over the city like a modern-day citadel, its spires a testament to a power that was as formidable as it was insidious. Behind the polished facade, corridors of data and control networks wove an intricate web that monitored and, in subtle ways, dictated the thoughts and emotions of the citizenry. Promotional messages extolled the virtues of enhanced cognitive abilities and improved emotional resilience, yet beneath the surface there was an unspoken trade-off: a surrender of autonomy in exchange for engineered contentment. As evidence gathered by the Remnants painted a grim picture of widespread memory tampering and psychological manipulation, it became increasingly clear that AuroraTech had orchestrated a grand experiment on a societal scale. The very fabric of human history, once rich with diversity and unpredictability, was being rethreaded into a uniform tapestry where dissent was dulled and individual narratives were sacrificed at the altar of order. In this corporate maelstrom, the true cost of progress was measured not in monetary terms, but in the erosion of free will and the vibrant mosaic of personal histories that defined humanity. Determined to expose the truth behind AuroraTech's pervasive control, the Remnants devised a daring plan: an infiltration of one of the corporation's most secure data centers, a vault of digital memories where countless identities were archived and manipulated. In the days that followed, the sanctuary buzzed with a palpable mix of anticipation and trepidation as meticulous preparations took shape. Detailed blueprints of the facility were scrutinized, escape routes were mapped out, and contingency plans were drafted with precision. Mira found herself at the center of these discussions, her scientific acumen proving invaluable in deciphering the complex encryption protocols that guarded the troves of data. Every detail was considered, from the timing of security shifts to the subtle behavioral patterns of the AI sentinels patrolling the corridors. The plan was audacious, teetering on the edge of recklessness.